Hello viewers, this is Wolf here. Welcome to Wolf's Haven and to some more Monster Hunter figure reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Capcom Figure Builder PLUS Vol.24. Now this pack is one that I've been anticipating for a while since it has one of my favorite monsters of all time in it. So let's take a look at the box and just see what comes included with this. So if we scan over to this side here, so we're going to get Shigaru Magala. We also have Daimyo Hermitar, and right here is the one I've been looking forward to for so long, Lucent Nargacuga, one of my favorite monsters of all time in the series. Really looking forward to seeing what that looks like here. And then now on this side, we have Chameleos, we have Blood Orange, Bishatan, and Espinaz. So without any further ado, let's open this thing up and take a look at these figures. So we'll start with the first box over here. And we'll see what we get. Okay, so first things first, we get Shigaru Magala. So of course we have a pretty big bag here, those absolutely massive wings. And Shigaru Magala is looking pretty good, very shiny in there so far. Definitely can't wait to see what that looks like when that's all completely assembled. And of course we have pieces for a transparent monster here, which I'm not quite sure what that is, but we'll of course figure that out later. And this is of course going to come with a sticker of Shigaru Magala right here. Looking pretty cool. So now on to box number 2. And box number 2 is going to be holding Espinaz. So again, we've got some large wings. Espinaz looking pretty cool in there. Of course, we'll take a look at that later. And this is just another leg piece. Still can't quite figure out what that is. But of course, we have Espinaz's sticker here, his icon, looking pretty cool. Love the greens and reds there. Now for box number 3. So this is clearly Daimyo Hermitar right here. You got those massive crab legs there. And there he is right there with his pincers. And we'll check this one out later. So that's going to be the stand for the secret statue. So now for the sticker. And yeah, here's the sticker for Daimyo Hermitar. So now on to box 4. Okay, so we're gonna get Chameleos. We got a sticker right here, looking pretty cool. And here we go. We got Chameleos, and of course, they have his long tongue front and center here. So this thing's already looking pretty cool inside the box. I've always kind of liked Chameleos' coloration. Also a pretty fun fight. Like, I've always thought that monsters that make use of camouflage or going invisible to be very interesting. Obviously, one of the big features of Lucent Nargacuga. But anyways, on to box 5. So, we have Blood Orange Bishatan. Cool color variation on the sticker here. Ah, okay. So this is actually a translucent piece of Garangolm, actually. Which I guess that's pretty appropriate that it's in a green color. So here we have Blood Orange Bishaten. I've always liked the color combination on this, with the oranges and blacks and the yellows as well. Of course, we'll take a deeper look at that a little bit later, once it's out of the packaging. And then on to the final statue here, which of course is going to be Lucent Nargacuga. This is the figure that I've been waiting for. And oh my god, already, just in the packaging alone, it already looks good. Like those blades are looking really beautiful right now. And then, of course, getting a sticker of Lucent Nargacuga's icon in that Monster Hunter Monster Hunter Rise art style here, looking very good. So that's pretty much all the boxes here. So let's put them all together and take a look at them and see what they look like quality-wise. So here we have all of the Volume 24 monsters completely assembled. So let's take a look at them one by one. So I guess we'll start off with Daimyo Hermitar, just all the way in the back here. So I feel like they did do a pretty good job with modeling this. Like I think the most eye-catching thing for me personally for Daimyo Hermitar is the big skull shell on the back here, which looks very good. Like, I like the texture work that they did on this. A lot of grooves and stuff to make this look like a dried skull, that this is aged. It does look really nice. I think overall it's probably like the best looking part of this whole figure here. It looks really good. If we look at the Hermitar itself, of course there's an abundance of orange here with that white striping. The claws do look pretty good here as well, but of course not the most detail when it comes to the face or the mouth, but overall pretty standard for this set. Nothing too special, but not bad either. So now we'll take a look at Blood Orange Bishaten, which in terms of color combinations, like this subspecies, visually, the design was always super cool. Like this color combination where it looks almost like a sunset. It's got those yellows, the oranges mixed with the blacks, and some of the white fur. It's just one of my favorite color combinations. It looks so good, especially with like those yellows and oranges on the wings mixing with the black back there. Looks so good, and then that big part of fur on the back of them as well too. Holding up the blood orange as well. Everything here just blends and flows together very well. They did a really good job capturing this in this figure form. Again, quality-wise, it's going to be the same as the regular Bishaten. Not the highest amount of quality in the face and whatnot, but I think in terms of the paints, at this scale, I feel like they did do a good job for Blood Orange Bishaten. And definitely one of my favorites out of the Rise series of miniatures so far. This one is pretty good. So now I guess we'll take a look at Chameleos, which I definitely do think this was a pretty fun fight in Rise. I always like the fact that this thing was able to use camouflage and completely turn invisible and move around the field. I've always thought that that was a really, really interesting concept. And in figure form here, they really did bring its design to life, especially with a lot of these colors on the scales. Like a lot of these purples, and the fact that there's a bit of a gloss on some of the scales at the back here. Those look really good, and I like some of the little cracks, or I guess like the segments in the black scales here on the edges of the wings with the transition to purple at the back here. Looking pretty good. Like, Chameleos is a pretty cool monster. I do like how they put a lot of emphasis on the long tongue as well here. It does kind of remind me of the the Puke miniature from Monster Hunter World as well, where there's a lot of emphasis on that as well. So overall, pretty cool. And even underneath the tail here, you can see that color pattern, which goes all the way throughout the underbody of Chameleos here. But yeah, all in all, pretty cool monster, and I do like the design of this in miniature form. So now we're going to take a look at Espinaz, one of the larger of these miniatures here. So you got this absolutely massive dragon here. Very interesting color combination with the greens and the reds, although they do pop quite well. Nothing too special to say about Espinaz's design. Pretty standard wyvern. I do like how spiky it is going down the tail on multiple sides as well, which does look good. But overall, for the most part, it's a pretty plain looking monster. Nothing too crazy, but of course they did do a pretty good job capturing this in this miniature form here. You can kind of see his serrated teeth there, looking pretty good. Not too much detail on the eyes or in the mouth either. It does have like a purple tongue there. But overall, I'd put this pretty comparable with Daimyo Hermitar. Just pretty standard stuff for this series. So now I deliberately left the best for last for these last two. So we're going to take a look at Shigaru Magala first. So of course, Shigaru Magala absolutely dazzling in the light here with all of those gold scales. Again, like I do have the creator's model of Shigaru Magala, which looked absolutely amazing, but even having a point of reference of that, even comparing the lower quality line to that, this still looks good. They did do a good job on this version of Shigaru Magala here. Again, the scales do look very vibrant all throughout the body. The golds and the bronze spikes going along the tail, and the bronze horn as well. Of course, these purple claws on the wings do look very good, and I do like the contrasting colors of these like teals with the gold scales around the body. Looking to the back, looks very bright. And again, a very good pose with the wings completely outstretched, making this monster look like a star here. Very cool design, easily one of my favorites out of all of the Monster Hunter miniatures. This looks so good. Shigaru Magala is a really cool monster, very cool design, and they did a really good job capturing it both ways, both in the creator's model and in this smaller figure builder line. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites from the pack here. And now, leaving the best for last, one of my favorite monsters of all time, Lucent Nargacuga. I'm honestly quite surprised that it took them this long to actually make a figure of Lucent Nargacuga. I'm quite surprised that there hasn't been a creator's model version of this monster as of yet. I would love to see a creator's model of Lucent Nargacuga. This is such a cool subspecies of Nargacuga. Love the color design on it, with this kind of white silverish fur down the midsection of the body, the bright orange parts lining the eyes here, and then you get a bit of like these purples and blacks on the membranous wing here, and then the blades. The blades were the things that caught my eye when I saw it in the packaging, and they look so good here. They are very shiny. They're glistening in the light here with the silver side as well as this shimmery bluish side. It's almost kind of like a cobalt blue on the bladed parts of the wings there, looking really good. Of course, the spikes, where they color transition from those purples into that whiter color towards the tip of the spines there. Overall, like, yeah, they did do a good job capturing this in miniature form. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is their first ever Lucent Nargacuga figure. At the very least, I haven't seen one before. And I'm glad that it took until Monster Hunter Rise for them to actually finally make a figure of Lucent Nargacuga. This is easily my favorite of this line. one of my top favorites, because this monster is just so cool, such a fun fight. And how appropriate that they have 2 monsters in this pack that can both go invisible. But yeah, that's basically all of the monsters here within the Volume 24. So there's of course going to be the secret monster that's completely translucent. And yeah, we have a green Garangolm here. Very appropriate color for this monster here. I'm not a huge fan of this myself. I don't particularly like the green all that much. Like, I mean, it does fit the monster, of course, but just not a huge fan of Garangolm in general. But overall, I think that this does look fine. Especially when you have a bit of that green glow on the tail, where it gets really bright, as well as on the claws and the upper section of the body as well, too. It does look good. The one issue that I do have with this, though, is that, unfortunately, I don't know if this is just an issue with mine in particular, but the hind legs for Garangolm are actually poorly designed, actually. They don't actually lock into the body. You can actually just see how loose they are. You can see, like, just as I'm shaking it, the leg just comes right out. It just comes right out. Like, it does not really sit in there very tight. It kind of just, you just pop it in, it just sits in there. So it's very easy for the leg to just easily fall out. They're not, you can just see how easy that came off. So yeah, unfortunately they kind of broke their streak when it came to having these translucent parts, having just an overall better design concept for them. They kind of missed the mark here on Garangolm, but it is what it is. Overall, the most important part of this pack are these monsters here, especially the Lucent Nargacuga and Shigara Magala, and I'm very happy about those. Even the Blood Orange Bishaten too is really cool. But with all that said, that's going to do it for the Volume 24 here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys found it informative. There's definitely going to be more Monster Hunter figures and content coming in the future, so I hope you guys stay tuned for all of that. But until then, I hope you guys have a good day or good night, depending on where you are, and I will see you all later.